Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's tutorial, I will demonstrate how to draft, cut and sew this beautiful sleeve with an inbuilt bow design detail. Hi, my name is Ayel and welcome to 011 Clothings Tutorials. On this channel, I upload DIYs, pattern drafting and sewing tutorials. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do so and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. So now, let's get right into the tutorial. Thank you! I'll be working with the following items: pins, tape measure, a pair of fabric scissors, a pair of paper scissors. Ideally, a pencil should be used to draft a pattern, but for tutorial purpose, I'll be using these: calculator, rulers and curves, pattern paper. I'll be working with the following measurements: bust circumference 39 inches, sleeve length 13 inches, around elbow measurement 12 inches. So I have here this pattern paper which I have already folded into two. I will now go ahead and draft the basic sleeve pattern. I will draw a horizontal starting line about 2 inches away from the upper edge of the paper. The sleeve length that I'm working with is 13 inches. So from the upper starting line, I will go ahead to measure and mark 13 inches like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. This line is the hem of the sleeve. Next, I will calculate the cap height value using the formula bust circumference divided by 12 plus 1.5, and this is 39 divided by 12 plus 1.5, and this is equal to 4.75 inches. So I'll go ahead to measure and mark 4.75 inches downwards like this. From the upper starting line, I will draw a horizontal line across. This line is the cap height line. Next, I will calculate the armhole depth using the formula bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5, and this is 39 divided by 6 plus 1.5, and this is equal to 8 inches. On the cap height line, I will measure and mark 8 inches like this. I will now connect these 2 points together with a ruler like this. I will divide this slanted line into 4 equal sections like this. From the first middle point, I will go up by half an inch. From the second middle point, I will come down by half an inch. I will now draw the armhole curve using the half an inch points as a guide. The around elbow measurement is 12 inches. So I will divide the around elbow measurement by 2, and this is 12 inches divided by 2, and this is equal to 6 inches. At the hem, I will go ahead to measure and mark 6 inches like this. I will now connect these 2 points together with my ruler like this. This armhole curve is for the back of the sleeve. For the front armhole curve, I will come down by half an inch from the middle point. Using the half an inch as a guide, I will go ahead and draw the front armhole curve like this. I will transfer the front armhole curve to the other side of the pattern paper like this. I will also trace out the hem seam. I will make the tracing bolder using my ruler, marker pen and French curve. I will label the front and the back of the sleeve. I will now cut out the basic sleeve pattern. I will alter this basic sleeve pattern into a sleeve with an inbuilt bow design detail. On the basic sleeve pattern, I'll go ahead to measure and mark 1/4 inch at both sides of the sleeve edge. At the hem of the sleeve, I will measure and mark 2 inches from the two side seams. I'll connect these 2 points together with my ruler like this. I will slash it open from the top to the hem, but I won't cut it all the way through. On this new pattern paper, I have already drawn a middle line. I will now pin the sleeve to the pattern paper, making sure that the middle line on the pattern paper and the sleeve match up. I will now open up the parts that I slashed. I will open up the upper part of the sleeve like this. I will open up the upper part by 7 inches. I will pin it in place. I will draw a horizontal line across. I will locate and mark the middle point on the horizontal line. I will draw a vertical line from the middle point to the hem of the sleeve. I will repeat exactly the same thing on this other side as well. I will correct this curve at the lower part of the sleeve like this using my curve. I will vertically draw up this 1/4 inch point at the upper part of the sleeve like this. Also extend these points at the outer part of the 7-inch spread. I will extend the middle points as well. The length of the extension should be 6.5 inches, so I will measure and mark 6.5 inches like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. I will now cut out the sleeve pattern. I will transfer these lines to the new pattern like this. I will remove the old pattern piece from the new one. And this is what the bow sleeve pattern looks like. I will now go ahead and cut out the sleeve on this black satin fabric. I will pin the pattern to the fabric like this. I will add half an inch seam allowance all around the pattern except for the side seam where I will add 1 inch side seam allowance. I will cut it out. I will transfer the middle point at the top of the sleeve to the fabric like this. I will also transfer this middle point where the extension starts from to the sleeve like this. I will mark 1/4 inch on both sides of this middle point. I will remove the pattern from the fabric. I will connect the middle points together like this. I will measure and mark half an inch upwards like this, and I will connect it to the two 1/4 inch points. I will now slash it open like this, and I will slash into the corner to give me an outward facing triangle at the lower part of the slash. I will use a facing for the lower edge of the sleeve. So using the sleeve pattern, I will trace out the lower edge of the sleeve like this, and I will also trace out the sides. It will be 2 inches wide plus extra half an inch at the top edge for the seam allowance. I will also add half an inch seam allowance at the sides and also half an inch seam allowance at the lower edge. I will cut out the facing. I will transfer the actual position of the sleeve edge from the pattern to the fabric like this. I will notch these points. I should have done this earlier before I remove the pattern from the fabric. I have interfaced and overlocked the lower edge of the facing. I will sew the facing of the sleeve right side to right side using half an inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. After stitching, I notch the seam allowance and then I understitch the seam allowance to the hem of the facing fabric. I will now fold the sleeve into 2 equal halves like this. I will pin this side, which is the middle of the sleeve, in place. I will sew it in place using 1/4 inch sewing allowance. I will also pin this other side in place, but I will sew it on my sewing machine using half an inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. I will flip over the fabric like this, such that the 2 seam lines on the sleeve extension match up. I will pin the top edge in place. After pinning, I will stitch using half an inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. I will snip off the corners like this. And I will turn the sleeve to the right side. We have an opening right here. We will be making use of this opening later on. Using a needle and a thread, I will go ahead and gather the extension at the sleeve edge. The gathering is what will give us the bow shape at the top edge of the sleeve. I have here these small bands that I have sewn and turned to the right side. It is 1 inch wide and 3 inches long. I will pass the band through the opening that I showed you earlier on. I will use this small band to hold the bow in place. I will unstitch it in place using a needle and a thread on the wrong side of the sleeve. You can also use a sewing machine if you want to. I will now fold the sleeve into 2, right side to right side. I will now go ahead and sew the side seam in place using 1 inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. I will turn the sleeve to the right side. As for this facing at the hem of the sleeve, you can either use a needle and a thread to unstitch it in place, or you can use a hemming gum to secure it in place. I have gone ahead to give the sleeve a thorough press with my pressing iron. I have also ironed and arranged the bow very well at the top of the sleeve. I will now fix a button to this side of the sleeve. I will fix a button to it like this, using a needle and a thread. So now that has been done, as you can see, and this is the final look of the sleeve with an inbuilt bow design detail. If you find this video helpful, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, share this video with your friends who are interested in sewing, and do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. See you in my next tutorial. Bye, and thank you so much for watching.